this meeting to order. Midtown Redevelopment Board meeting, 6 p.m. Tuesday, June the 9th. Let us have our roll call, please. Miss, thank you. Present.
Angela Hardy is going to be 15 minutes late.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn Thompson.
Present.
Kathy Washington, she's not here yet. Joan is not going to be here. She's excused. Renee Richardson.
Present.
And Davida Boner.
Present.
We can continue. Yes.
Thank you so much. Let us stand for our invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pray. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this privileged opportunity we have to gather together as the Midtown Redevelopment Board. We ask your blessings upon us. Give us insight, wisdom, and witty inventions to carry this community forward. We ask your blessings upon this fair city, the mayor, the city commission, and the redevelopment board. And we pray, God, that you would be pleased with all of our work, and especially the work of the staff, and give us the ability to continue to work together with community, because we can't do it without each other. And we pray that you would be glorified and pleased with all that we do. And Father, we're careful to give you praise for all of the blessings that you will continue to shower down upon us. And it's in Jesus' name we pray, and we thank you for your blessings. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Let us proceed to the next item on the agenda, the approval of the agenda. What is your pleasure, board?
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved and properly second that we approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you so much. Agenda is approved. Now you have the minutes before you. Next item is to approve the minutes from the May 12th meeting. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I read them. I didn't see anything wrong with them. If nobody else has seen anything wrong with them, I would offer a motion to approve them.
Second. Moved and properly second, we approve the minutes for the May 12th meeting. All those in favor, the sign is aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. So approved. Minutes for May the 12th meeting, 2026. Item number 7, the First Amendment to the Fence Services Plan Development Redevelopment. Our project manager, Michelle. Good evening.
Board members. I'm Michelle Tolliver, the project manager for Midtown. Item number 7 is the rezoning for the First Amendment to Fence Services AAA Plan Development Redevelopment, DEV 2025-654, Quasi-Judicial hearing. And this is going to mirror the package that you received in the mail. This is the staff report. This is a request by Jessica Gow of Cobb Cole on behalf of Fence Service, Inc., to amend the fence service doing business as AAA Fence Plan Development Agreement to expand the boundaries, to add 1 property, to rezone 3.85 plus or minus acres of land located at 801 Orange Avenue from single-family residential 5 to plan development redevelopment and the site improvements associated with it. The subject property is located at 801 West International Speedway Boulevard. It includes 6 parcels, and I attached the map series to your packet. The existing uses are in the table below as listed on the PowerPoint. The Fence Services, Inc. background on it is the Fence Services, Inc. PD was approved by the City Commission on February 19th, 2020. The applicant is now requesting approval for the First Amendment to the Fence Service, Inc. Plan Development Redevelopment Agreement to expand the boundaries to add property. And the additional property is located on your printout. It shows 819, that address on Franklin is 301 Franklin, from a single-family residential 5 to planned development redevelopment. On this page, the portion of the property where the property is being added is where the 2 dumpsters are. And just for your information, the property is already acquired by AAA as well as enclosed already in a fence. And if you notice on that second aerial, it shows the new addition in red. It's outlined in red. And the next page is just the project analysis that has been reviewed by staff. And I won't go into the details. Each of you have a copy of this, as well as the site-specific zoning standards that have already been approved by the TRT, the technical review team here at the city. And then these are a continuation of that. And then we go into the other land development code requirements where there are no conflicts with this becoming part of this overall plan development. And then the next page continues with additional land development code requirements that have been met. And then the last page, of course, the neighborhood meeting happened back on February 16th, 2026. And then the recommendation to this board, staff recommends approval to expand the boundaries to add property and rezone 3.85 plus or minus acres of land located at 801 Orange Avenue from single-family residential 5 to planned development, redevelopment with the required site improvements. A majority vote by the Midtown Redevelopment Board. Members present and voting is required to recommend approval to the Planning Board and the City Commission. The item is tentatively scheduled to be heard by the Planning Board on June 25th, 2026, and by the City Commission for first reading on August 5th, 2026, and the second reading, public hearing on August 19th, 2026. And the Jessica Gao is here to answer questions if you all have any for me. Otherwise, I will take my seat.
Not at this time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you answered those questions. Now, I do have a couple for Jessica, though. Yeah. And then we'll have our public comments following.
Good evening. For the record,
evening.
Jessica
Yes.
Gao with Cobb Cole Law Firm, 1 Daytona Boulevard, Daytona Beach, Florida. As outlined in the staff report, this overall request is to add 1 property to the overall plan district. We came through a few years ago now to put a plan development over all of the existing AAA fence operations. That business has been in operation since 1958, and it's been on this site for quite a while of that. I do have a few slides that go through. This is going back to, I think this is 2017 or 2007. I have 2 dates. This is 2007, that original first photo that you can see the original fencing and operations on site. Same with this shot is 2017. So you can see that we had an overall perimeter fence. For a fence company, we like to joke that it didn't look the best. And as part of that discussion with planning staff, with this board, with the planning board, and with city commission, when we went through that rezoning, there were certain standards for fencing and landscaping that were required. This is the current view of the site, so you can see that new fencing and screening that was put in place. I will note that during our neighborhood meeting, one of the concerns brought up by residents was that the fencing as established under the approved PD with the commission cut off the sight line at the corner of Orange. And so after that meeting, the fencing on that corner was modified to try to bring that corner in on a slant to kind of bring back open that view corridor. I think there were also concerns with some of the landscaping that were put in across the street off-site, but we did try to modify that corner clip that was noted about our site. This property is unique. As noted, it is single-family residential zoning. There was a single-family home there that was taken down before our property purchase, or client purchased the property. But it is zoned, or the future land use of it is local service industry, which matches the remainder of the industrial kind of corridor along Orange Avenue. And then behind that, there is a strip of retail future land use and then transition back to residential. So we see this as fitting into the future land use vision of the site. It is just that one lot being added, no changes, no new buildings in that area, just pulling it into the overall site. We do have our engineer, Bobby Ball with Zev Cohen and Associates, here as well for questions, and I'm happy to answer any you may have.
Okay. You have any questions for Jessica?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the can we get the attachment C up there again? Okay. I'm just trying to get my perspective. So the old cigar place, right? Everybody that grew up around here.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I didn't know that.
That's on the east side of Lockhart, right? I didn't know they had bought that. Okay. All right. So on Orange and Lockhart, the property in question, those buildings behind that, those are residences now? I see the red stuff.
I'll say not the red. Behind it, yep, there is one residential unit right behind that red box that has its driveway access right on the side. And then on the other side, I think those are duplex units in the rear there. Behind the other side, on the east side of Lockhart.
So now, you mentioned future use. As this, obviously this business is very successful. I mean, I see fencing going up all over town. So, plans for growth and expansion, just looking at where that's going to go.
So this is it at this time. I think that when this parcel came up as a potential sale, it doesn't completely square it out in that rear there, but you see the yellow outline, which is the existing operations that were approved by the board and commission, already goes back to that single family property on Lockhart. So the red square kind of sections off, squares it up a little bit to be enclosed in the fence together. I don't see future expansion. I think that the future land use line of local service industry runs just about along there and then shifts to that retail future land use. But that would be the city's long-term vision planning, not the property owners.
Staff, where does this fit in with the Housing Authority proposed to us a while back? Because I know they had a very comprehensive plan they brought recently about Palmetto Park and all those things.
So it does not, it's where the yellow is, where the cigar property was. Those are the duplexes that Mrs. Gow referred to. It does not affect it. Once they do some type of development, they will probably, I'm assuming, add some kind of buffering between, I'm assuming. It may not be required because there's already buffering there. There's a fence line. So it just touches the same property that the Housing Authority currently has. And how they plan to lay it out, that's to be determined. But that's the 3 units there. Along that yellow line, that's the Housing Authority property. And right now it does not affect it, and it probably will not affect it in the future.
Okay, one more question. Philosophically, I was fishing the other day, y'all. Okay, and I had this debate with my wife about bridges. And she was arguing, why don't they build another bridge in Ormond? And I said, well, you got to have a corridor that feeds the bridge. And there's no other corridor other than Granada. And I was explaining the corridors. And I said, well, you got Orange Avenue that feeds the Orange Avenue Bridge. You got ISB. And that means there's a lot of traffic. But also with traffic comes opportunities for growth in businesses. But on Orange Avenue, it's a lot of residences too. So my question is, and I guess Brother Thomas, you can help me with this. Long-range plans for Orange Avenue, and Midtown. I want to make sure that we don't uproot as many homes in the quest to put businesses there. That's just a concern that I have. I mean, I just want to make sure I'm all for growth. I am, but I just would like to be able to look and see as we grow, and Daytona is growing, y'all. We're proud of
Absolutely.
that we have a happy balance, and I'm sure you're charged with that.
Yeah, if you look at Orange Avenue now from Nova down to the tracks, there is relatively, I cannot tell you, I don't know if there's 2 single-family houses on this whole stretch. If any residential would, if we had to recommend or support any residential, it would be multifamily. It wouldn't be long-term single-family housing, because Orange Avenue is totally different than it was 20 years ago. That same thought goes along with Dr. King Boulevard, Dr. Bethune Boulevard. We have a hodgepodge of residential, industrial, especially on Orange Avenue, and commercial next door to each other. And so to really plan a good quality of life community, you wouldn't put residential next door to any of these commercial uses.
Right.
It would be off the beaten path.
That's right. Excellent. Ms. Richardson, no questions? Ms. Bonner? I've got a couple. Thank you. That was a great question. That was one of my questions. Now you have acquired the property, so that's good. How many foreseeable, will there be any creation of new jobs with this expansion?
So the primary use of the site is just storage on site.
Storage,
I don't think
okay,
that,
that's right.
it will be an increase in operations, just kind of a storage area for what they currently do.
Okay. All right. And the other question was, as it relates to the buffer currently now, we're having any issues with the residents? Any?
So we heard at the neighborhood meeting concerns over, again, that visibility on the street.
Okay.
The fencing plan and the landscaping for the overall property, that big yellow beyond just this added red parcel, was reviewed and approved by the commission in the first rezoning. We're happy to, like we did after that meeting, if there are concerns with placement of that fence still, where it's blocking visibility, making turns difficult, or anything like that, we are happy to work with residents.
Do you have a rendition
on
on that? On how you're going to develop that portion to make sure we meet the needs?
So the additional property would match the overall fencing and landscaping that was required by the commission. So if there is a proposed change to that for just that property, and it would be that placement of the hedging, the trees, and the fencing.
And then the line of sight?
Correct. So the line of sight was actually at Orange Avenue on the corner of the
Right.
existing site. That has already been modified.
Oh, it's
in the
already
field.
been
Yep.
modified. Okay. So it's sufficient at this point?
Well, I will say it has been modified. I would like to hear from the residents if it was moved enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. All right. And with this expansion, how does that just fit into the model, the business model of AAA?
I think that it came up for sale. It is right adjacent to them. It gives them a little more room for storage area. It doesn't change their operations. There's no additional gate there. And it is just something that, they could pull into their overall property
Right.
adjacent to it.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's good. Now we'll be ready to receive public comments.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You have to.
All right. First person, Betty Ivy. Then followed by your brother, Ray. So we're looking forward to that. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Betty Ivy, and I grew up with AAA Fence Company. While I too understand the importance of expansion and growth, on the west side, there is no buffer like it is on the east side. So there is no buffer. Trucks wake up the neighborhood between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. They exit out on Franklin, and they're not exiting out on Orange Avenue, nor are they either exit out on Franklin or exit out on Lockhart. There was an accident just the other day on the corner of Orange and Franklin. The adjustment that they made was, I'm gonna say maybe about the size of this slant, but you still cannot see anyone walking down that sidewalk to your right, and you must pull up beyond the stop sign to turn right to even see what's coming. That easement is not 25 feet back, adjacent to, it does not match the east side. And so for safety reasons for the neighborhood, it is not cosmetically safe nor physically safe for walking or driving.
And that's the same corner that they have already modified.
All they did is cut a corner like this
Okay.
at an angle.
Yeah. So she said they wanted to hear from community on that. Yeah. So that can be modified again. Yeah. The especially if it's a public safety matter.
And you cannot
and a
see.
concern. Yeah.
The cosmetic fence, you cannot see. It actually sits higher than what you would put in a residential neighborhood because it is a business. So that fence is taller than what it would be in a normal residential neighborhood.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Jessica, would you like to respond to that now? Good question. Okay. Very good. All right. We'll hear from Ray Ivy. Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, sir.
Pastor Lake,
Thank you, sir.
board, staff. Him is Ivy, 314 South Franklin Street, Daytona Beach, Florida. I want to start out by giving you a little history on 319
Okay.
South Franklin Street. That's the correct address that they took down, 319 South Franklin. That house used to belong to Mr. Arthur D. Harris. He was one of the first descendants, slaves, that bought property in the city of Daytona Beach. You can compare that house to the Thurman house. Had they done their homework, the house could have been preserved. That's one thing, okay? That's just a little history of it.
Yeah.
When they bought the property, what had happened was the property, when Mr. Harris died, they had a reverse mortgage on the property. Therefore, the family was not able to cure the property, so it went to sale on the courthouse once they foreclosed on it. That's the history, and that's how they bought the property. Now, what I would like to do is go through what has transpired. First of all, when they bought the property, they bought it back in 2023. When they put the family out, the property was not vacant, okay, because the family was still living there. They had 2 days to move. That was the crust of that. They immediately tore down the house. Demolition, everything. No permit, no anything. I pulled the record to look at it. Being a citizen, when we put up a fence and went to do an after report, they told us no. They made us take down the fence on our property, which is across the street. So they was able to come in, buy the property, do demolition, put up a fence, and that's been over 2 years. Nobody said nothing. Here's what happened. When they put up their signs notifying the community meeting was on a holiday, not in the community, but out at Daytona 1. So therefore, that's why you probably only had 2 or 3 people there. Okay, my whole family would have been there, but I told them I got it, I'll go. Okay. Then what happened was, now that you have in our community, in our neighborhood, we still have Mr. Mitchell Seabrooks, which you know, Mr. Mitch, and Jackie, older couple. Okay, you got the duplex, which is right next to where you're showing the red line. Okay, that property is up for sale, so we already know they finna buy it. Then you got Mitch and Jackie Seabrooks and their family. Older couple, well established. Although our neighborhood is deteriorating, the houses are still there, the lawns are still well kept, you still have kids in the community playing. And this business is not suitable for expansion. Just this morning, and I have pictures to show you, like my sister said, AAA comes down Franklin Street. Just this morning, a truck trailer came off right in front of my house. From AAA fence. Again, I'm up because you can't sleep, because at 6:30 to 7, beep, beep, they loading their trucks, okay? We have a decent street. It's well paved, sidewalks, lit. Kids play on the streets and everything. When these big trucks come every now and then, you got the big semi trucks that's coming around to go in. You got trucks going every day except Saturdays. You got trucks, sometimes semis, sometimes regular trucks coming around the block. Okay, that's a major issue. So I'm gonna go to, that's the history on how they started this whole project. What happened, how it happened. So what I wanted to talk to you about, when you sit here and look at the codes and you go down it, it is my belief that staff has created a false narrative. And I say that to say, first of all, when you're looking at the city's comprehensive plan, it does not meet the goals of the city comprehensive plan. If you sit there and read it, it does not meet that. In fact, right now, the occurrence violates the code if you read it. We talked about the community. The community was single-family residents. You take down a single-family resident that the property was 65 by 180. You could have replaced it with a duplex or more housing. That's what the city is moving for in our community. Then you could have housed their workers, because most of their workers are either coming from jail or low-end jobs, but they are some nice people, okay? Because I've dealt with some of them out here in the community. So they be looking for places because they know what I do. So if they wanted to expand, that's just an idea. I can't tell people what to do with their property. But if you go back and you start going down, matter of fact, they just removed the water meter from that property about 3 or 4 months ago. The city did. But they saying when you go through your backup material, they say that the house was dilapidated and empty before they tore it down. I went through this complete package. So here's my concerns. Not only is an encroachment into an established residential neighborhood, this proposed extension directly impedes into a long-standing residential community. This neighborhood is not designed to absorb increased commercial or construction activity, and doing so will significantly disrupt the character, safety, and daily lives of our residents. Safety concerns for the children and pedestrians. Children frequently ride their bicycles along the streets, increase traffic, construction vehicles, and reduce visibility, create an unacceptable safety risk. The zoning extension would intensify these hazards and place minors and pedestrians in harm's way. If you went down our street now, school is out. The kids ride their scooters, they ride their bikes, they come to my house and get water and all. I watch the neighborhood, okay? Kids on my left side, kids on my front side. And you have people that also walks up and down the street. Very friendly pedestrian. I don't care what your nationality, race, or anything is. It's a pedestrian-free, and people use it. Sidewalks kept clean and everything. So this is a very old, well-established neighborhood. And I really wish you, if you want to see it, please come take a look. The other part I look at is the fence is obstructing the intersection visibility. I'm the one that went to the meeting, and I told Rob Merrill up front, Rob, you can't even see coming out of there. Within 3 hours, they was out, like my sister stated, making a slant. Still didn't do no good, just like she said, just a couple of weeks ago. Somebody done ran into the utility because they can't see. I pull out there every morning, like Miss Thomas comes up the street, she has to stop and then go out further, turn in the street, because you cannot see. That's how bad the visibility is. The excess of noise and work beginning at 7 in the morning. If I'm retired, but I still work. But if you wanted to rest or family come over, you're gonna get up. You don't have a choice because that noise, beep, 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 trucks moving in and out, is constant every morning. So that would be a major disturbance. The level of disruption is not compatible with the residential zone and demonstrates the incapabilities of the proposed use with the surrounding community. I've already stated when the community meeting happened on a holiday away from the community, and it was raining. Go figure. When we had a Dickinson Center, any other meeting since I've been back here 20-something years, every meeting pertaining to Midtown has been held in Midtown. Every meeting that I've seen. Again, the work started prior to them applying for this extension. If this is approved tonight, we have set a precedent. If they can do it, the community can do it, and so can the city. So there should be no code enforcement anymore once we approve this tonight, should you approve it. My conclusion. For these reasons, I strongly urge the board to deny this zoning extension request. The procedural irregularities, the safety hazards, and the negative impact on the community make this proposal unsuitable and contrary to the best interests of the community. It was a false narrative given to this board. Homework was not done on this extension. So like anybody else, it's time we set the precedents, just like they set it on us. Take the fence down, turn it back into single-family residence, and do not continue to disturb and distract our communities. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Two things that we want to make sure that we address. Jessica, we will hear for you, and then we'll hear from the staff because that's a concern that I have with your accusation. So we want to address that. Yeah. So we will address that. Yes, Jessica.
Certainly. Again, for the record, Jessica Gow, Cobb Cole Law Firm, 1 Daytona Boulevard, Daytona Beach, Florida. First, on kind of the history stated, I can't speak to what the prior owner did and their timing. I can speak to my understanding from our client that they purchased the property after the home was torn down. So what led up to that would have been the prior owner. I have no reason to doubt what was said. I don't have any facts regarding it. And if so, that's unfortunate. Our client purchased the property. It was offered for sale to them. I think that the note on the community meeting, and it was raised at the community meeting as well, community meetings for these type of applications are not allowed to be held if the city is not open for business. And so we held it on February 16th. That was President's Day. But the city is open for business for typical hours that day. And so that was set for that date. The notes kind of regarding the existing truck traffic and routing.
Excuse me, Jessica,
Yep.
can you repeat that? Now, why was that date selected again?
We look at availability of all of the community centers based on when we're looking at the potential for a neighborhood meeting. And so we reach out to a lot of different community centers, hotels, or other conference rooms. We were trying to get it in February. That was the date that was available. It can't be on a date that the city has another hearing, and it can't be on a date that the city is closed. Those are the regulations, and so that's, we set that date, it checked the boxes there. I will acknowledge it was President's Day, but the city was open, and businesses were open in the community. The concern about the long-term vision of this neighborhood is one that I absolutely understand, and it is a challenge. It's a challenge because the future land use of the property that we're looking to add is local service industry. That future land use does not allow residential development when you're coming in for redevelopment. It only allows for local industrial and service-based uses. And so when you take that step back on the next core on the future land use map that we could pull up, that retail allows a mix of retail and residential. But like Ken noted, that would be more of a multifamily type housing type. And so this corridor is noted for pretty intense industrial and commercial activity under the city's comprehensive plan and long-term plan. And that's what, we've looked at in this site. The addition of this property, as we said in the presentation, will not result in a new building, increased trucks on site or operations. It's just being used as a storage area. That is the proposal, and that's what's pulled into the fencing overall. And so there should not be an increase in operations as a result of this. It is just pulling that property into the perimeter.
Okay. Now, regarding to that line of sight issue.
We're happy. We've heard that did not correct the issue.
Right.
As noted by the resident, our client, within hours apparently, went out and tried to correct that corner. He wants to be a good neighbor. He wants to take a look at that issue. We are happy to have that be a recommendation moving forward, that be resolved. I would like to resolve it before the planning board because I think it is a current safety issue. And so we will absolutely work with our client to get out there.
Yeah, it's more than a recommendation. If it's a public safety matter, we need to, it should be addressed. Yeah, should be dealt with, yeah.
And the fence location, it was technically reviewed, but I think that reviewing something on a plan with the city in terms of kind of site distance and hearing the real life experience, we're hearing that there has to be a change. So we'll bring that forward.
Okay. How soon can we expect something?
I would not be surprised if it happens very quickly after this, based on what they did last time.
Okay. Good. Any questions? Yes. Board? Yes. Right here. Thank you. We'll start with you, Ms. Tanner.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I came in at the end,
Yeah.
I guess, middle. So, as I was hearing, gentleman was discussing how this project will disturb their neighborhood and the livelihood of the current residents. And our belief, and I don't know if we all are in agreement, is to represent the communities here at Daytona. Have you guys done any detailed analysis in regards to the residents of this neighborhood outside of your meetings to see how much this will affect their way of life? So
we send invitations to everyone within 500 feet of the property. And we know we're having a meeting and that we're also happy to discuss and answer any questions that arise. Other than those who attended the neighborhood meeting, we did not hear anything. I don't believe staff has heard anything beyond that of questions. This business has been here for decades. The only change is pulling in one residential lot that they have purchased in between the original operation and today. So in terms of the hours of operation, the truck access, well, those are things that we can certainly review with our client. The proposal in front of you to add that lot, it does not change any of those pieces.
So I think my next question would be for staff. When she spoke of this property not being for residential use, according to our codes, is there a way to change it to make it for residential use?
That would be at the discretion of the current property owner who she's representing. And they've already fenced it in and they're using it as outside storage right now. So that would be the owner's choice.
Okay.
I think, if I'm just mishearing, I think the question is on the future land use of the area and how that's
Yeah, the
established.
future land use of the area. I know she mentioned that it wasn't zoned for residential. Yeah.
That's the current. For future land use, because it's a PD, it would affect the entire boundary, not just that. And we're assuming that it would become part of the PD, meaning the rest of AAA's property. I don't think it would affect it in the future because that's what they're asking for now, to protect the future land use, to make it part of their overall property. Ken, I don't know if you have anything else to add in terms of how the land is used.
Future land use right now is
Local service industry.
local service industry. So even when the property was occupied as residential, it still had a future land use of local service industry.
Okay.
It was inconsistent before they bought the property.
In the packet that we have, I see, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I see a number of addresses. I'm assuming these are from the residents in the neighborhood. Is this correct?
That list is everyone who received notice.
Everyone that
of the-
received
yep,
notice.
mhm. Those are the mailing labels. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That's all I have.
Okay.
Jessica, I'm still stuck on this. And I'm thinking back on my former life as a professional in Midtown, and a native of Midtown. You got a long time Midtown business, anchored in Midtown, doing business right in the middle of Midtown. But yet, when you want to conduct a community meeting, you do it at the most inopportune time outside of Midtown, where the residents who will be affected cannot get to the meeting. Something in my spirit doesn't sit right with that. And I just can't get over that. I'm chewing on that.
And I can look back and identify all of the places that we've requested availability for in that month. But there is about 6 or 7 locations around the city that regularly host these neighborhood meetings and community meetings. I will say one of the hardest ones to book are the city community centers because they're very active, which is great. But it's hard for us to kind of carve out time for these. This was held at the One Daytona Complex in Daytona Beach. I understand, I think in a best case, it would have been located closer. We didn't want to have it on site because I think that it's an industrial type property and we didn't want to have residents on that property overall. So I will say that we did not receive any follow-up beyond those residents who attended and who are here tonight that said that they could not attend the meeting and would like to have. And we frequently do get that in other cases if there has been an issue.
Richardson.
My only question is the box that's in red
Mhm.
is what we're talking about as far as adding.
Mhm.
This has already been purchased. It's already been added. It's already been fenced in.
Mhm.
Okay. So everything in yellow, has that already been fenced in as well? Is that?
That
okay.
is fenced in and
Does
has
it
been
all
approved.
match what's outside, or does it match
Yes.
what's in red?
Yes. They've had this, it has a continuance fencing to match with what, between the yellow and the red.
Is it a possibility of them since this has been here a very long time, a very long time. It's a huge business, and I don't see it going anywhere. But we still need to be able to have consideration for the residents. So is it possible to drop the fence some, like, so people will be able to see, not just cut the corner off, but so people will be able to see? It won't be in the line of sight when you drive, or you have to pull up so far that you cannot. Would the owner, I'm talking about with all, if the entire property on all sides or wherever you're not able to see coming out onto Orange Avenue or something. I don't know what you could do with the noise, because that is part of what has already been there for a very, very, very long time.
I will note on the fencing, I think that we can look at that intersection. If we dropped it down to a city standard height, that would just be 6 feet. And so I don't think that would fix the visibility issue.
Okay.
I think anything above 4 feet or above is going to block a car visibility. So I think we're going to have to look at that corner just in terms of pulling it back instead of height.
Yeah, that would make sense.
When we went through the original PD approval, one of the feedbacks that we received from the residents at that time was that they wanted the fence to be fully opaque, solid, not see-through, and tall to screen the view of everything in the storage yards. So I would hesitate to bring it back down because it had more visibility of kind of an industrial nature at that time. But we will certainly look at that corner.
Mr. Chair, to sort of address what Ms. Richardson and others have been saying, you need to be able to pull up to that white line and be able to see east and west.
Right.
Yeah.
That was what I just asked him. Today, is that safe and legal?
So it has that corner, originally when it was a hard square, not the corner cut that we talked about, that original square design was reviewed and approved by the city. But that's where we come into, while something may check all the boxes on paper, it's not working in reality and for the neighborhood and visibility. So that's why we will look at that and see what can be done to fix that in coordination with city planning and engineering and public works.
And have there been complaints in the past about all the noise and everything else? I mean, because I want to make sure that this business knows that there have been complaints registered.
I think that it's a struggle between kind of historic residential neighborhoods and an industrial type use. I won't say it's a full industrial, but local service industry use that has been there for decades, and balancing that. I think it's complied with the city's noise regulations, but that doesn't mean that there is no noise, right? And so that balance is something that we'll look at. We're happy to talk to our clients. We have shared the neighborhood meeting summary and these concerns. He has noted that he will look at the routing of the semis. The AAA fence doesn't have semis, but they have deliveries that are dropped off. And so looking at the routing and signage for those deliveries to try to keep them off Franklin. There's only so much they can do. If there's a delivery driver who plugs it into their system and it takes them down Franklin, that is one thing. But if they speak to them and kind of advise their vendors, this is a route that you should take into our site to avoid that gate.
Now, you suggesting that they have not heard about complaints, noise complaints?
There have been no formal noise complaints with the city that would violate the noise ordinance, no noise ordinance violations or anything like that on the site.
And how is the business owners with the community in terms of a positive relationship just in general?
Yeah, my understanding is that they're a good local employee. They're very active in the community. The owners have been honored for small business awards and local business awards kind of throughout. I think they are dedicated to being a good community member. And I think that they're happy to have further conversations and be out there. Like it was noted, we raised a concern, we shared it. They were out there within hours to try to fix it. Definitely heard tonight, need more work. But I think that speed of response shows that they're committed
They're
to
not here tonight.
They're not here.
So they are not
Next
with us
question.
here this evening. I didn't see Billy sneak in. I believe that they were out of town. We did not select this date. And I'm not saying that we don't want to be here.
Right.
I'm just saying
Right.
that
I have
it's travel
a couple more
plans.
questions, but Ms. Bonner.
Okay, well, I concur with most of these other questions. The safety measures of the street. I've been on that street myself, and I know very well that when you are pulling out, it's kind of a touch and go situation. You're praying that nothing else is coming, and so, when you have children involved and residents involved and that kind of thing, and industry, I know it's a hard situation to have that in a residential community, but although it's been there for many years, that is a concern, and the concern of the residents. And then I know you may have already addressed this, and I may not have heard, but when the notices were sent to those who were listed here as the residents, how much notice did they receive about? I didn't know the Daytona One had a place there for rental. So that was news to me. But anyway, how much time were they allotted, or when
We
you
send them
the
2 weeks
correspondence?
before the meeting.
2 weeks before the meeting, okay. And so it was at Daytona One.
It was at one of the conference rooms there. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, because I guess those were some concerns that I had, because I know sometime, if a person receives it within 5 to 7 days, and then sometimes if it's 2 weeks, even in this case, sometime dealing with a certain, anybody, if you're not familiar even where the place is located, sometimes that can be a hindrance on some levels too, if you're searching for something that you didn't even know existed or whatever. So I just wondered about that piece, but particularly the safety, and then the noise too, and I know people sometimes get immune to things when you hear it all the time, but still, if you're somebody that does have a job and your sleep is affected and those kinds of things, it can, over long range time, it can affect other things in your life and things like that too. So all of those questions, which have already been addressed, I have.
And I will note, in addition to mailing notice, the same day that those notices are mailed, because the Postal Service can sometimes take a few days.
Yeah.
We put notice signs on each right-of-way adjacent to the property with the location, with our contact information, and with the city backup information to get details about the project and meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and let me just say this about the meeting location. Is it customary to have meetings outside of Midtown for any of these meetings that are called? Is that something that's customary?
No, you try to have them in close proximity to the site itself.
Okay.
So you would try your best to have it in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and I think we're dealing with the issue. The scripture says may be lawful but not expedient. Yeah, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's the best way of doing business, because it appears just appears that it wasn't as straightforward as it should have been, and so therefore you're getting the kickback as a result of that.
And I noted and heard that. I can't say for certain there would have been a location closer available. I think that we certainly strive to have it as close as possible to the location. But again, we have received no comments from residents who were invited and could not make it, or who did not know about the location or anything like that.
Right.
And we've received those in other cases, sometimes where people have gotten confused or they got their dates mixed up. We are always happy to talk to residents, to set up additional meetings and all of that.
Just a good question for Mr. Chair. May I?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So right now they're using the property as storage, right? It's just
storage.
being used as storage. So if you push the Planning and Zoning Board meeting back another month, and you have a city commission meeting, it's maybe the second meeting in August, what impact would that have on the use of the facility?
It would not. If this board wanted to
And given
recommend
the,
us to
the
have another
residents an
neighborhood meeting,
opportunity.
yeah, we're happy
Yeah.
to. I will note that the mailing radius for a neighborhood meeting, a community meeting, it's a little bigger than the planning board meeting, but they would get planning board notice as well.
Right.
But I think that we're happy to host another
Because it
community
appears
meeting.
that they're
Yeah.
not comfortable with not having a meeting in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think, if I may, I think that your clients, the rest of the community needs to hear the concerns brought forth to this board.
Mhm.
See if there's a way that a solution can be reached, because I've heard safety issues, I've heard quality of life issues, that maybe some type of dialogue can ensue, that maybe some solutions can be reached, rather than just rushing to a vote on something.
Right.
Right.
And I'm not ready to deal with this like that. I think that some dialogue needs to happen.
And as noted, we are happy to do that. We're happy to have another community meeting and go through that process. I will note that the issues raised, the primary ones, are a result of something that has already been approved. And so to the extent that those need to be fixed, and I believe that we do need to have those conversations and we need to activate that community discussion, and again, happy to do it, they have not tied directly into the addition of property. I think they tie into the original PD approval for AAA fence and its operations, which completely understand, and we want to have those conversations. But the request before you tonight is just to add that property boundary.
Right. And so I think that's a good segue to ask the question, is there a motion on the floor for approval? If not, it just...
It's already had a motion.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be that we give the residents and the community opportunity to have a voice in this matter before we proceed forward.
We don't think we need a motion for that.
Point of order,
David,
it'd be up to the applicant. It's a quasi-judicial proceeding, up to the
Right.
applicant whether they want to continue it, to allow for another neighborhood meeting to proceed. Alternatively, the board should make a motion and then vote on it tonight if they're not willing to continue or seek to continue it. And if again, this board's vote is to make a recommendation to the city commission, who ultimately will make the decision on this application. Obviously, if your recommendation is conditioned on that occurring, you can certainly make that as part of the motion. If you're not recommending approval based upon the fact that this neighborhood meeting didn't occur in the way that you believe it should have, that you can certainly make that part of it. But I think that the applicant is entitled to a vote tonight on this proceeding. So.
Yeah, and I think that from a perspective of having clear action items from this to kind of go forward, it would be helpful to have a motion that says we would like you to move forward and have another community meeting before you can go to planning board to review the access configuration for changes with staff and bring that forward as well. Because if you don't make a motion, it's a recommendation of denial, and that's just the end of it. And if this amendment doesn't move forward, none of those pieces get fixed because it's not related to that property, it's related to the existing. And so just in the effort to have that clear path of here's what we would like to see, I think having a motion outlining those would be very helpful.
So,
Well, we here, whatever motion is made, it has to be seconded before a vote can proceed. So we'll open the floor for any motion or recommendation, and then it would need to be seconded. And if not seconded,
well,
then
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
Ms. Hardy, if you want to go ahead, I'm prepared to offer one, but you go right ahead.
I motion to not move forward until there's been a reconciling with an appropriate meeting with the residents of the neighborhood.
Is there a second for that motion?
And I think that meets legal muster for us, right?
Well, the way I understood the motion is that the board's recommendation would be to not recommend approval in the absence of that second neighborhood meeting occurring. Would that be
Right,
fair?
that's
Accurate?
correct.
Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah.
I would and this is just from a perspective for next steps, if that is your motion as currently phrased, then we have planning board in 2 weeks, and we don't have time to have a neighborhood meeting, and you've recommended denial. So it's not the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the motion.
That's,
Your concern is the neighborhood meeting, having a neighborhood
Exactly,
meeting.
yes.
Not necessarily in denying the application.
Right, not denying the application,
Right.
but giving them an opportunity to let their voices be heard.
Yes, that's what we want.
Yes.
So,
Alternatively, you could condition your recommendation of approval upon the applicant having another neighborhood meeting at a time and place that's convenient for the residents.
And we still
And
would
reviewing
need
the
that 2 weeks.
access. And reviewing the access. It would then not go to planning board
Right.
until.
So my concern with that is if we approve something and then say, okay, we're gonna already approve it, but yeah, we'll hear their voices, what's the purpose of hearing their voices?
So the recommendation is conditioned upon them taking those steps. And so the planning board would hear if they don't take those steps, that they didn't satisfy the conditions for the recommendation that you're presenting.
Now, but now also too, remember, we don't have to approve it. So don't be, we cannot be afraid, no, we can't, we don't have to.
That's correct.
The recommendation, so
You're not obligated to recommend
please understand
approval.
that, yeah, we're not obligated to approve the recommendation.
And I apologize if I led you to believe that wasn't my intention.
and they're not going to the planning board until the
Right.
neighborhood meeting and
Exactly.
you have a discussion on how they're gonna correct some of those items you brought up tonight.
Well, I think there are 3 options for an application, right? Recommendation of denial, 4. Recommendation of denial, a continuance, where we would come back to this board. A recommendation of approval with conditions, a checklist of things, or a recommendation of approval as written. So the phrasing of that motion right now, I think, is a recommendation of denial, which,
That wasn't the recommendation, though. It was more on the side of condition, and so we can restate it and reframe that recommendation that would satisfy you as the maker of the motion, so.
Before
you can
I motion
rephrase
and
it.
recommend,
Yeah,
Ms. Richardson, Ms. Bonner, do you have any additional comments?
No, not at this time.
No, I don't think I have any comments or questions. I just want to make sure that we are clear.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
what my
are,
thing was.
we can recommend to deny. We can recommend to
with conditions.
condition,
Conditions.
or we
Or
can
approve
approve to
as
move
is.
forward. And we are asking for the conditions to be addressed with the ability for the community to have a voice and the conditions of making the adjustments to what they are doing or what the fence is for the line of sight for everybody else. Okay, I understand. I just want to make
So
sure.
the conditions on the condition of motion, what are those terms on the condition? And we want to make sure we state that properly. Yes,
If I can repeat,
Yes.
I heard 3. The line of sight,
Line of
the
sight, yep.
community meeting, and the traffic going down Franklin were the 3 that I heard.
Yeah.
So I'm suggesting that you include those. If those are the 3 points that
Right.
you want addressed, then that needs to be part of your motion to approve with these 3 conditions. And if that's misstated, you all can discuss clarifying it. But those are the 3 points that I heard: the sight line, the community meeting, and traffic going down Franklin.
excuse me? What was
So
that?
I'm reluctant to say approve right now.
Yes. Well, let's go ahead and restate the motion so we can get a second, and then we'll hear questions from the,
I make a motion to, I'm not gonna say approve, but give the residents the opportunity to speak on the safety, the line of sight regarding the fencing, the way of life concerning the neighborhood and residents of their community. And then we revisit an approval in the future.
let's work on that. Now again,
Can I just
Yeah.
ask? I think you guys want to continue this item. I think at the end of the day, I think that is instead of. I just feel like that's what we're trying to do, but I want to.
so if we, so as you're stating that, is there a second for how Ms. Hardy's stated this?
I could
motion?
simply
Just
rephrase the motion as
rephrase
a motion to continue for the applicant to satisfy those conditions that we've discussed in the meeting tonight.
prior to
Including the residential meeting, yes.
yes, those three things: line of sight, the community meeting, and the traffic down Franklin issue. All right. Is there a second?
Second it.
Moved and properly seconded that we'll continue, provided those items are addressed appropriately, and we'll come back. All right, we have here from the,
There's another public comment for.
Yes. For the vote. Yeah.
And I will just note on timing, it will probably not be next month because we have to schedule that meeting, so it would be after that is.
Okay, all right. Betty Ivy. And then John Nicholson. Wait, no, that's item
That's
12.
for 12.
That's item 12.
Betty Ivy.
Thank you. Yes.
I'll reserve my comment since the motion has already carried, but I just
No, we
want.
haven't carried the motion.
Oh,
We want to
okay.
hear from you.
A point of clarification that the growth for AAA fence is not down Orange Avenue. It is into the neighborhood. So it is that property that was shown that's in the red comes into the neighborhood and not on Orange Avenue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the
Thank you.
clarification.
All right. That's, you have no comment? Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, come on, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, yes.
And Ms. Ivy,
Ms. Ivy, yes.
314 South Franklin Street, Daytona Beach, Florida. Again, another point of clarification. The current property that is being considered to be included in the current zoning is currently zoned as a single-family residence. That's what the current zoning is. They tore down a house to include it into their PD. That's what happened. So now if you're saying, okay, future land use, what we're saying is let's tear down a community. Let's tear down a neighborhood by approving this. Because next, you'll buy the duplex. Now you're next to the other single-family residence. You're constantly impeding into a residential neighborhood. Here's what's going to happen. As they grow and the trusts continue to roll, now you got to make another exit that's going to come out into the neighborhood because you're not going over into Lockhart because you have another house behind that parcel. And they'll continue to grow until the neighborhood comes out and we have deleted a neighborhood. We talk about gentrification, now we're talking about depleting. You won't get our property because it's air property and all of us are on the same wavelength. Me and my sisters and brother will not sell. They tried to get it from our parents and our parents told them no. So you know what the siblings gonna do and you know what the siblings after our siblings are gonna do. We're not gonna sell because we love our neighborhood. We've already bought, again, we own not only 314, we own 318, which is right next to us. If you pass by it, you'll see how beautiful we keep it. Although no one lives next to it, they have painted their house because it looks a little dilapidated, but they keep the yard cut. We don't keep vagrants around. We run people away. We don't have a homeless problem. We do have, we do have walkers, but trust me, I control that. I'm up at 4, if I see the ambulance going to Mr. Mitchell's house at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm down there making sure they're all right. That's the military in me. That's the love I have for our community. So kids, I make sure nobody mess with them. Their parents feel safe because they know I'm sitting on that porch or out in that yard. And I welcome them to play in the vacant lot. So I'm asking, no, I do not want it approved. Can't stop growth. I understand that. But they've taken a house down. They bought the property with the intention of taking it down because 2 days after they bought it, they did the demolition. AAA Fence did the demolition. So it wasn't a previous owner. How can Mr. Harris or their people tear down their own house? Then they'll be homeless? It wasn't a tent up there. So I would just like for the narrative to be correct and that we state it correctly. Because what's going to happen, they're going to take our neighborhood as they grow. They could grow on Orange Avenue. And as far as the noise, there was no noise the way we hear it now because they're not using it for storage. It's not storage. If you look at the overall view, you can see they have fence stuff along there. They just had fence and stuff in front of the house on Sunday. Well, somebody tried to break into the thing. Early Monday morning, as soon as they get in there, they clean it up in front of my yard. That's what's going to happen. That's business. I don't care about their cameras. We got cameras. So I'm just saying, please consider your vote. And let's just say, hey, they can extend on Orange Avenue next to their vinyl site. That's all well and fine, but I'm asking that we do not allow them to impede into our neighborhood. And just like they make us take down a fence and abide by code, why can't we make AAA Fence abide by the same rules that we have to abide by as a resident? Put it back the way it was and then come before y'all. Let's start that way. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
I'll fill out.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. Now, before Ms. Desmore comes, I want to ask staff in relation to those particular challenges regarding the code. Is there a violation that you all are aware of or missed?
I must acknowledge that the fence has been the property has been enclosed by a fence prior to it being approved, yes. I do not know, based on what should happen prior to it being approved by the commission. I would have to ask our planning director guidance on that. But yes, the property is enclosed in a fence right now.
Okay. All right. That's important to acknowledge. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, okay. All right, Ms. Desmore. Hello.
I was minding my own business. Okay. Lucy Desmore, 1643 West Paradise Lane. I don't live in the area now, but I grew up in that area around the corner on Loomis Avenue. My family would be Mr. and Mrs. Stewart and Miss Staples, Milleen Sanders, and everyone that knows that area around and that we all grew up in that neighborhood. Okay. There's a solution to anything. This is all about economics.
Absolutely.
And so my only recommendation to folks in the neighborhood is there are other fence companies out there. Keep your money in your pocket. You do not have to spend your dollars with that particular company. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you. All right. No further comments. We will move to vote. Moved and properly seconded that we approve, provided conditions of the line of sight community meeting and the traffic down Franklin is addressed. Right?
I had understood the motion to be a motion to continue this to,
Yes.
I think Ms. Gow indicated that they would need at least 2 meetings to have enough time to hold the neighborhood meeting, which would bring us back here for the August meeting.
Yes, with those conditions being met.
Correct.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, good. No further.
And can we ensure that that meeting takes place in the Midtown area also, if possible?
The applicant understands that that's what the board is asking them to do, and so I'm sure that they will make every effort to ensure that that's what happens.
Absolutely. Okay. No further discussion. We are ready to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye. Yes.
Sorry.
There's a discussion.
We wanted to do
Further
another
discussion?
comment.
Oh, you've got one comment? Yes. Come on here, Ms. Pierre. All right. Thought you were waiting for another item, but you're ready.
I hadn't
Yes.
filled it out yet. but,
Okay. Go right ahead.
I was sitting there listening to the comments. Pierre Lewis, 130 South Franklin Street. I remember being on the board some years ago when they approved the variance for that fence to be the size that it is now.
Okay.
And when I say the size, I mean the size that it is, because it's huge. It really is. But here, my only comments is, as I listened to my neighbors who live down the street, I think the place that's on Marion Street, they had the same similar process. They built it along the long way on Loomis, but by the time they started getting a little bit further, now they're deeper and deeper and deeper into the neighborhood. So if nothing else, it sounds like the same similar situation that we're talking about where AAA Fence is that along Orange Avenue seems fine. But as they get further and further and further in there, I think there is a point that we really have to listen to what the neighbors are saying, the ones that live actually there.
Absolutely.
I understand the safety issue, the line of sight. I know about how they have the meetings and stuff like that that's done. So I think that, I guess the onus is upon all of us to take every effort that's available to make sure, we know we're not gonna get 100%,
Right.
that's for sure. But at some point, to make sure we've got the bulk of the residents that live deep down on that side by, I think it's Maley Street, right? Yeah, right by Maley Street. So that's my only comments on that. Because I see how it gets further and further and further back. That was my old paper route as a kid, so I remember that one. But further and further, I understand the Orange Avenue. It says it's huge, but business is business. Progress is going to be there, and I'm definitely about Midtown progressing. That's for sure. Definitely.
Very good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll fill this out.
Appreciate it. All right. No further comments or discussion. We are ready to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Wait a minute.
Back up.
I need to make sure I understand what we're doing.
Right,
It's continuation.
I'm still
We're
questioning
continuing,
what we're
yes.
doing, the continuation.
Yes. Can we
Not
restate the
voting
motion?
on it, yes.
Let's
or
restate the
no,
motion.
But we are voting on the continuation
continuation,
of
yes.
having that
Right.
conversation so that they can have the meeting and they can move
Yes.
forward in that aspect so we can make a
Yes.
decision again and come back around.
Absolutely. Yeah. This
Okay,
is
that's
not
what we
approving the
expect.
recommendation.
Okay, that's why there was silence.
Yes. This is not approving. This is not approving the recommendation.
Ready for
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Okay. All right. We got it now. We ready? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready for that.
Opposers, say no. Ayes have it. So is the order.
Okay.
Continuation. So thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Make sure I understand.
Now, we will proceed to the next item on the agenda, the staff reports. Captain Jones, Police Department. Thank you. Yes. And thank you all for hanging in there. This is important to have discussion. Appreciate it. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just some quick stats for the last month. We serviced 1,557 calls for service. We wrote 289 reports. We issued 191 citations, made 32 felony arrests, 31 misdemeanor arrests, and we did 165 traffic stops. Just this past weekend, we monitored the UFL Orlando Storm playoff game. No incidents, no issues. It was a good event. Officers really liked working that event, so the vendor was very accommodating to the officers, so that was definitely good for the city and for the police department. We're monitoring a potential truck event for this weekend. We do have a mandate in place. We do believe that it's going to be low impact to our citizens because the vendor lost their venue out in New Smyrna Speedway, so the main event is in Geneva. So it's quite a bit of a travel for them to come here, but we do anticipate probably some bar crowds after their event is over in Geneva. So we do have some officers out for that. We will be doing some traffic enforcement and hope that they pay attention to our laws and are respectful to our citizens. Other than that, we've had so far, I hate to say it, a good summer series. The pop-up events we do heavily monitor, and it seems like things are improving. So that is definitely good on the police department stance. We're getting ready for 4th of July festivities and doing mandates for that, unfortunately, because everybody wants the holiday off, but unfortunately the officers can't. So we're staffing that and just rolling into more events after that with the August races and back to school before we know it. Definitely a busy time for our police department right now.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's too fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will be in Christmas before we know it. It seems like it's just flying by. We're in June already.
Right. Yeah. That's
So-
right. Good. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Any comments, board questions?
Nope.
Very
Thank you
good.
for your
Thank
service.
you.
Good night.
Appreciate your service.
Thank
Good night.
you.
All right. We'll move to the next item, code compliance. Ms. Kirk.
Good evening, Sarah
evening.
Kirk, Code Inspector with the city. For the month of May, Code had 21 total cases, 10 of which were code cases and 11 were vacant lot cases. Code is continuing to take complaints from the citizens and trying to maintain Midtown beautiful. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope.
Keep it going.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. Ms. Kirk, any of the issues from last month that needed to be closed out that were pressing? I forget the one
Which
property.
one was it? I think
I
it was
forget the
Miss
one.
Shepherd.
Yes.
Brought up something.
Yes. Okay.
I'm trying to think what. I think we did. I did speak with Miss Shepherd outside of the meeting, and we resolved it. I got
Okay.
her to
All
who
right,
she
very good.
needed to speak with. So.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.
Have a great night.
You too. Thank you. Ms. Tolliver, redevelopment projects.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Michelle Tolliver, Project Manager for Midtown. I wanted to go over the two grant applications that we have this month. Both are residential facade grant applications. The first is at 139 Harney Street. And for those who don't know where Harney Street is, I always say it's the street right before you get to Krispy Kreme when you're going west. This property was a Transform 386 rebuild. And the property owner has tried since she moved back in September to get two quotes, as you'll see on the second page of the packet. The application only includes one quote. That's because she was unable to get a second business to give her a quote. It's for skirting along the perimeter of her home, and that's a condition of her homeowner insurance. Her homeowner insurance will not be renewed until she gets that skirting. So I don't know how the other property owners are managing that, but that is not something that Transform 386 includes in their new bill. So this is a essential item for her for $9,200. And this item does not require your vote, but it just is information for you, and I will answer any questions you have about this.
How soon can it be completed?
As soon as I get back to the office
Okay.
tomorrow,
Okay.
I will work on getting her letter out, and she can reach out to the company to install
Is
the
this in a flood
skirting.
zone?
It is, yes.
That's why it's elevated.
Yes. And then the second item is a fence at 923 Sycamore Street. This is one of the properties that the city donated for a first-time home buyer. And Mrs. Anderson is a new homeowner, and she's getting fencing around the side and the back of the property. I'm not going to comment on that. The fence price is $7,380, and you'll see the two quotes on the application. Any questions?
How soon can that one?
Same thing. I'll get on it tomorrow.
Excellent. All right, great, thank you.
That is it for the
That's great.
grants. I just wanted to share with you, I left copies of the book giveaways. These are available for churches and community organizations. The books target children and youth, and it's lots of books at Child's Academy tomorrow. They're giving them away at 5 o'clock.
Very good.
That is it.
Thank you so much.
The
Appreciate it.
pickup deadline is at 5 o'clock.
Very good. Bless you.
Ms.
All right,
Tolliver,
excellent.
I think I know on here it says the pickup deadline is tomorrow at 5.
Yes.
So that's what, yeah, because I know when they
5,
sent it to
5.
me, they were.
Yes, I'm
excited.
sorry.
Oh,
Yes.
5.
I just
Do you know when they're gonna start?
When is it?
They
Yeah.
started today, I believe. Some
No.
people
Okay.
already went today.
What time tomorrow will they start? Will they open?
I'm not certain.
Oh, 7.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
trying
so
to
all
figure
day.
it out.
AM. Thank you,
Okay.
Ms. Bonner.
You're welcome.
Thank you, appreciate that. Excellent. All right, the next item on the agenda is the presentation, Daytona Beach Area Convention Visitors Bureau, Mr. Brian Bentley and team. Thank you so much. Hello.
It's a long title.
Yeah.
Daytona Beach Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's a big
Yes,
title.
we got it.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kay Galloway, and I work for the Daytona Beach Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, which most people know us by the CVB, which means we promote tourism to the destination.
Yes.
That's our mission and goal. Tonight, we have Brian Bentley and Connor Rand joining us. And we wanted to share an exciting opportunity that we're currently exploring for the community called the National Folk Festival. You've got some brochures in front of you just to give you some ideas. We're in the early stages of preparing a competitive bid to become the host city for the 2028, 29, and 30 National Folk Festival. But before we explain it, we're just going to show you a brief video that'll kind of explain why we want to bring it here and that many other cities are vying for it. So it's important for us to try to bring it here. Do I need to push a button?
Imagine transforming your city into a vibrant celebration of music, dance, art, and food from across America that can bring audiences of over 100,000 and generate tens of millions in economic impact. See your city streets come alive with a signature art celebration that delivers urban renewal and revitalization. Share the richness of your local culture and expose your community to unique artistic and cultural expressions they've never experienced before. Become the National Folk Festival's next host city. For 3 years, the nation's longest-running traditional arts event, the National Folk Festival, can take root in the heart of your community's downtown. The National Folk Festival is a free, large-scale, 3-day outdoor event that celebrates the roots, richness, and variety of American culture and honors the artistic traditions of all Americans. It features over 300 of the nation's finest traditional musicians, dancers, and craftspeople on performance stages and in the streets and parks of your community. Take in children's activities and savory regional and international cuisine, plus dancing, storytelling, parades, and so much more. There's something for everyone. Produced in partnership with the host city, the National Folk Festival is an economic and cultural powerhouse that renews civic pride, strengthens community collaborations, and spurs new investments in infrastructure and public spaces. Residents, civic leaders, funders, and festival visitors will all be filled with a new sense of what's possible in your community after experiencing this powerful and transformative celebration. Share your vision with us for bringing America's premier celebration of traditional arts and culture to your community. Apply now to be the next host city for the National Folk Festival.
All right. Thank you, Kay. Brian Bentley, Manager of Corporate Sponsorships and Events at the Daytona Beach Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. So as you can see from the video, this is one of the most respected cultural festivals in the country. Going all the way back to 1934, it was originally championed by the First Lady at the time, Eleanor Roosevelt. The festival spends 3 years here in the host city, helping showcase the people, the traditions, music, food, and cultural heritage that make that community unique. After 3 years, the community then owns their own legacy event, which continues to grow for years to come. And that's one of the reasons that we believe this opportunity could have a lasting impact here in Daytona Beach. The festival has been successfully hosted in communities such as Salisbury, Maryland, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Butte, Montana, generating significant economic impact and attracting well over 100,000 attendees over a 3-day period each year. And one of the most remarkable things about the National Folk Festival is that it is completely free and open to the public, which allows the entire community to participate and experience in the event. The National Folk Festival is actually a community development project disguised as an event. The event itself may only be one weekend, but the real value comes from the partnerships, the community engagement, and the cultural connections that are built along the way. And that's why we're here tonight. This isn't something that happens to a community. It's something that is built by the community, and we need your support. We are truly at the beginning of this process as you see the timeline. The letter of intent is due on July 1st. The full proposal will be due on August 3rd, and the finalist communities will be announced later in the year. As part of our proposal, we're currently looking at the November timeframe for the festival, which would provide the opportunity to showcase Daytona Beach during one of the most pleasant times of year. So we're here tonight because if Daytona Beach is going to be successful in this effort, it has to be a community-wide effort from the very beginning. We're not asking for funding tonight. There, I got you. So we're not asking for commitments tonight either.
There you go.
We're here to educate and bring awareness to this board, the businesses, and residents. We want you to follow the process, to share your ideas, and help us build the strongest possible proposal. How are we going to do this? We've launched a dedicated webpage where anyone can learn about the festival. They can review the information about the bid process and sign up to receive updates as we move forward. Please feel free to take one of the info cards that we have here tonight. Connor has them, and everybody should have one in your pamphlets as well. Feel free to pick one up too. You can scan the QR code, and that'll take you directly to our webpage that we're hosting. So Daytona Beach has hosted great events over the decades. There's no question about that. But the National Folk Festival is different because it gives us an opportunity to showcase the people, the cultures, the traditions, and the neighborhoods that make our community unique, not just to the visitors, but to the rest of Florida, the nation, and the world. If we're fortunate enough to be selected, we want Midtown, with its rich history of heritage, to be part of the journey from the very beginning. Thank you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very
I
good.
have like
Yes.
4.
Yes. Very good. Yeah, that's
sorry.
good. That's good.
All right, so I hear you say that you want Midtown to be a part of this meeting. Looking at your video, everything looks amazing. Will this festival be held in the Midtown area?
Right now, given the size and the requirements that the RFP dictates, it's probably going to be looking at the Beach Street and Esplanade area. It has to have a continuous property that can host 7 main stages. It's just, you're drawing 100 to 150,000 people, and they suggest that the entire event would be 15 minutes from one end to the other. That really only leaves us very few options. Downtown, continuous property, 7 stages. Esplanade is the only fit for us right now that we're looking at.
So how will this event, let me back up a little bit. Let me ask you another question. Are you presenting to all of the boards, first
Yes.
of all?
Yes.
And
every single
secondly,
one.
how will this event then benefit the Midtown area?
So the Midtown area would benefit from business owners being able to come out and be vendors, food, volunteers, jobs of people coming out and helping with the event. This is a community effort. I'm not looking at one specific community. I'm pulling a triple header this week. I got tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday. So we're asking for the entire city to show up for this. One of the big things is if we make it to that final 3 list, the National Folk Festival and their staff will come to this city for 3 whole days. They're going to come to this building. They're going to come to these communities. They're not just going to look at the Esplanade, but they're going to look for community support. It's not the property that's going to sell this. It's certainly not the Convention and Visitors Bureau. They don't want this to be tourist driven. It's community driven. It's each and every one of these boards that meets this week. We all got to be involved. So I think more than anything, it's the community that benefits, whether it's financial, whether it's manpower, whether it's experience, or somebody that's a musician or an aspiring artist that comes right from your community. I think we got to look at it as much bigger than one specific community here in Daytona Beach.
Well, we represent the Midtown area, and this is the opportunity that we've been waiting for this area to make, to bring that type of focus to this area. And that's why I am focused on how will it benefit the residents in the community of the Midtown area.
Again, it's just the community involvement. We welcome the artists. We would welcome anybody, the performers, the talent. Bethune-Cookman. I need volunteers. I need between 800 to 1,000 volunteers to make this work. I've got to involve every single college, university, school, church, civic leaders. This is way bigger than anything that is a festival that we're used to. Folks, we need every part of the community. We need every part of this city, not just Midtown.
Mr. Thompson, I guess this question is for you and Ms. Tolliver. So he spoke about the walking distance being 15 minutes in space and length. Midtown has that area. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you mean as far as the location to have the event?
Yes.
Yeah, Midtown is not large enough to handle an event such as this one.
Yeah, one other thing
but you don't have the event space to really accommodate the space that they need. But it doesn't say that you can't contribute. And I think there is more to come with how the residents and the businesses in Midtown will contribute, hopefully, if we get this designation. Mm-hmm. So we're excited about it, bringing it to Daytona Beach, and we're going to do as much as we can to support their efforts to get it to Daytona Beach. That's what we need to do.
I think my concern is just, you have all the fantastic events always go to other areas of Daytona and not the Midtown area. That is my concern.
Yeah. Very well taken. Yeah, understand.
I see the benefit. I'm familiar with the National Folk Festival. Okay. One of the benefits that I think we can take advantage of is that you got so many people who will be coming to town, and they're going to be looking to find something that's going to be indigenous of the cultures that they're going to be celebrating. Right. And so they're going to want to get off the beaten path, and they want to come into Midtown and find, okay, well, for instance, I saw they got jazz, they got hip hop, they got every kind of music and every kind of artwork you want to see. Absolutely. And we've got it in Midtown. And so they're gonna want some food. They want to meet some people. They want to hear some stories. They want to visit campus. They want to see the history. Right. A lot of the stuff that we've been building with the signage, our branding opportunities, those will be up and running by then. And so as a result, many businesses in this area will be able to take advantage of all those folks coming. You talk about Eleanor Roosevelt. I mean, she and Mary McLeod Bethune had a tremendous relationship together. That story can be told, so I see some synergy here.
I will tell you that the National Folk Festival only does one per state. This is our shot to represent the state of Florida. So imagine all the culture that goes around that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their mission, is to preserve the culture so that next generations can experience it. So we've been on a couple of calls. We have stiff competition in the state of Florida, outside the state of Florida, everywhere from Savannah to Asheville to LA. So the importance of this is for our community to not look at single neighborhoods, but to come together to stand and say, we want it here. And that's why we're here tonight. We need to see how all of us can come together to make that happen. Now, our board is committed to this process. Brian was the first one to identify it, and we've been working the process. We have to get to $500,000 in revenue to, technically on paper, by that August date. The board has already committed $100,000, and we have others working that to get us to even in the consideration. That's how serious it is. At the end of the day, if we get picked and selected and it comes here, it's $1.2 million. We'll clear that hurdle when we get there. This is our first hurdle, is informing the community, all the CRAs, and then we're going to City Commission as well to let them know about the event. So scan the QR code, sign up to keep informed. Let us know your thoughts and feedback. If you want it, do you like it? Some ideas. We want to pull all of that together.
Questions? Other questions?
I had some comments.
Yeah, comments.
It looks very impressive, and I'm thinking of Midtown, particularly. I know a lot of people will, of course, fly here for it, but I'm thinking of aspects such as parking as well. I know for many of the big events, our institution sometimes, provides parking, and so many of the other entities that are on Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune could possibly benefit from that too. So that's one angle of it. The community service, most definitely, all of the colleges and universities, we need that. They happen to be responsible at my university for that. So we are looking for things, and especially things that bring in all genres of music and arts. That's something that is kind of missing today. A lot is taken from the schools and other places. So I think by introducing the arts and providing all the various cultures, I think that would be a win situation for us. I know it's a very big event, and I know that I'm sure the cost, and like you said, the cost effectiveness of it, but I think overall this would be something that would really put us on the map, and historically I think it's very important, like Mr. Thompson said, tie in the relationship between Bethune-Cookman and Eleanor Roosevelt, as well as many others here, Howard Thurman, the gospel music would tie in with that. There's just a lot of plethora of things I see that would be beneficial, and I think everybody could be included. But there are ways I think that Midtown, we would still be able to benefit from that, and Daytona Beach overall. So that's just my perspective, but that was, thank you.
Great. I think it's a great opportunity during this time of the sesquicentennial year to put in this application and move forward to bring all of the CRE districts together to make sure that we advance this cause. I think it's a great event for the city of Daytona Beach, the world's famous beach. So, hey, I think it's something positive for each of us. And as long as we're all having input around the table as to how we all work together and benefit the community, I think I'm all for it. So
Trying to hit the
thank you.
streets.
Yeah,
Trying to get the
absolutely.
word out.
Yeah, we got to do that. So we need to have these cards and give opportunity for people to offer their suggestions. Yeah. So excellent.
I have
Yeah, one more. Yes.
Just for you. So I hear you said earlier that you set up a lot of different events for the Volusia County area or Daytona Beach area.
We support events, either from marketing standpoint. Obviously, we have probably the most extensive calendar of events, and we put that on. The community uses it as well as tourists. We do officially own Biketoberfest is our event. We put the dates out, but really the community puts it on. Okay. So we don't technically, we would not own this event at the end of the day. It would not happen that way. But we're the first one raising the flag to get it out to the community.
The reason why I'm asking that question is because we talk a lot as a board about bringing significant events both to the Daytona Beach area as well as the Midtown area. Is that something you'll be willing to collaborate with us on to ensure that we are able to work on bringing more events into our space?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking, part of Brian's role is out trying to find events like this to bring here. That's part of our challenge. Looking at event promoters, is there an accessible event somewhere else that they can also do a second event here? That's part of what we're looking to do. You know, our focus, of course, is on tourism, but we also understand that it can be a benefit to the community at the same time. We would never bring an event here that didn't make sense for a community.
What would this fit in terms of both the economic impact and the number of visitors that an event like this could bring? Where would it fit into the list of major events that we have in Daytona Beach?
I think it's probably going to be similar to maybe a Biketoberfest, up to that 100,000. Sometimes that stretches further, 125 when we have motorcycles here. And it takes time to grow. So maybe that first year might be a 35,000 to 50,000 and continue to grow. Economic impact could be anywhere from a $30 million to a $60 million. And that's serious dollars back in the community.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate the presentation.
Any other questions? We'll leave
Great
extra
job.
cards over here.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. That's good.
Thank you.
Right.
Very good.
Very good. Okay. Next item on the agenda is old business. Do we have any old business? We have. Oh, good. Next item is new business. Nothing new? All right, we're ready for public comments. We have on deck Mr. John Nicholson. And Mr. Pierre.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. For about 10 years, I've been pushing Kersey to have another event. CVB to bring another event. She brought Biketoberfest. She promised us it would only be 32,000 people. It would be a small event. It never was 32. It started out above 32, and it's like 100, 125,000. So they're promising us that it's going to start out at 32. Don't hold them to it, please. Secondly, when it was presented to me, I was like, okay, a Grand Ole Opry. I'm not quite sure Daytona Beach is Grand Ole Opry kind of a place. And then it's like, no. It's cultural, plural.
Yes.
And if you looked at the video, I saw New Orleans, I saw New Mexico, I saw wherever. So it fits us quite to a T.
Yeah.
I've always mentioned that we have 9 major events in the city of Daytona Beach, over 100,000. We have 3 events over 200,000. That's, if you remember Bud Asher, Bud Asher always said, we get 5 free Super Bowls every year and it doesn't cost us a dime. Miami was paying, I think at the time, $25 million from their coffers to bring the Super Bowl to Miami. We were getting a larger event and it wasn't costing us a dime. 5 events.
Right.
So this is adding a 10th event.
Yes.
I've been pushing to have a major event every single month. Because our businesses, if you read The Observer last week, Bob Rand is the Economic Development Board Chair, and he said, our businesses cannot survive on 6 months and then 6 months of no business.
Right.
You have to have a continuous business of people coming into your business year round. You can't have a big dead period. So this fits perfectly with what he's talking about. With regard to Midtown, after I accepted the idea that this event would be good for us, my first comment, of course, naturally is beachside. All right? We're the perfect place for it. We have more hotels than downtown has. Downtown doesn't have a single, well, they've got one sort of kind of almost maybe hotel. So they don't have any hotels. All right? Parking. No major parking garages are downtown. We have 3 with the possible maybe 5 other ones that belong to the hotel. So we've got parking. They said, well, you don't have space for we need 8 locations for stages. Well, I can get you 25 of them. Is that more than 8? and they're all within 15-minute parking. You've heard of the band shell. That's a stage. Peabody, Ocean Center, huge stages. So when you talk about our hotels, our venues, it's perfect for beachside. However, when you look at all the other locations, it really makes sense. I'm still going to push for beachside, but it does make sense. The continuous Esplanade. Literally, it is Orange Avenue to Main Street, contiguous. All right? So I can understand why they're pushing that. Do you understand? Percy Williams wanted to put an event in Midtown on Martin Luther King from Shady Place to ISB. And the city said, nope. One, there's no parking. Secondly, you can't tie up Martin Luther King for 3 days or a week. So Percy tried, and it didn't go. Now I'm pushing an event to expand Paula Reed's Book Week to include all the events in Midtown, to make it a Black cultural event, so that there's theater, so that there is plays, poetry. The mayor's big on poetry. All those kind of things around the Bethune-Cookman College and MMB. To me, that's the logical place to have an event in Midtown in a cultural sort of way. People forget when you talk about, like Fiescher was talking last night at the Midtown board meeting, that he didn't realize when he went to school here that Howard, and he was studying Howard Thurman, that Howard Thurman's house was a couple of blocks away. He said, why didn't they tell us that? And he's talking about Boston, where Thurman worked. They don't know it was down, that his house is here. People don't know the connection he has with Mahatma Gandhi, who is a world famous figure on how to cause a cultural revolution. But that started here in Daytona Beach with Howard Thurman. We forget that. We have several people. There's a big event over in Eatonville.
Zornell.
You know who she is, right?
Oh, yeah.
How many of you know that she lived here in town?
Talk to you.
Okay? You never hear that mentioned. And she is a well-known author. If you're going to brag about anything, who's the guy that stayed in the Lillian place, wrote a couple of books? People forget who he is. I forgot what his name is. But, okay, we push him as having stayed at Lillian Place. She stayed here in town, and she's more famous than he is, and we don't mention it. So I don't want to kind of pee on your parades or anything, but there comes a time when you brag about what you got, all right? You had Campbell House, who's going to be probably torn down, all right? But there are things happened at that location. There are other things that Fiescher brought up about Joe Harris. He had to go to Boston to see a picture of Jackie Robinson sitting on Joe Harris's front porch. It's not here in town. So how many things are around the world talking about Mary McLeod Bethune doing X, Y, and Z, her time in Washington, D.C., but we don't push her, really. All right? We don't. I mean, Jackie Robinson, we talk about him breaking the color barrier here, but nobody else does. Breaking the color barrier was the second time somewhere else, and they get all the glory. So this event may not be in Midtown, but it is in the city of Daytona Beach, and it'll be a major event, and everything counts for everybody in the city of Daytona Beach. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those comments, John. We have two more. Okay. Miss Ruby. Yes. Yeah, good to see you.
Hi, Ann Ruby, 138 South Noble Street, speaking as a resident. I think this is a great idea to try to bring this here, and it could give us all a goal to push to do some things that really would help move our city forward. There's been talk for a while of doing an app for the Black Heritage Trail. My vision for it would be to have include like videotaped histories of some of the older people. You know, a lot of them are churches, old people who remember going to church there as children, to put those historic places in context. Some places don't need that necessarily. The Thurman House, Jackie Robinson Field, but some places do. And I think we could use this, and maybe the CVB would even be willing to help with this, to get to finally put together an app for the Black Heritage Trail. I think that would be really important. As a side note, there's a mural up on MMB where there's faces, and nobody, if you guys might know who they are, I don't know who they are. Somebody should put a plaque next to that mural showing who's who and why their face is on the mural. Mm-hmm. It just put it into context. Make the history last for history, not just for the people who are alive right now. You know, one of the things, my pet projects is wanting a shuttle. And, you know, John, there are a lot of hotels on the beach side, but you could have the people staying on the beach side riding a shuttle for free over to the Esplanade. So it could be, this could be a precipitating or an encouraging event to have us bring that service to the city. You know, they're talking about wanting to do a brew pub down in that old fire station #1. That would be a great thing to have in place before this comes. And putting a WAC Memorial Park on the site of the old City Island Rec Center. There are so many things that we can do to highlight our history, whether it's Midtown, Beachside, or on the mainland. But we need to start, we need maybe something like this as a precipitating event, something for us to shoot for. Let's get it done by, you know, if we can show that those kind of things are in the works or are part of our objective for the city, maybe it would help them get that event here. So I think it sounds like a great idea, but maybe you guys can help us with some of those things too. Thank you.
Absolutely. Perfect timing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next on deck, I think this is Kaiser. I can't. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Come on. Yes, you can do that. It's Pierre. Absolutely.
Pierre Lewis, 130 South Franklin Street. You know, we hear a lot of times, we talk about a lot of stuff in Midtown that's happening, and I see a lot of that. And I'm here tonight to talk to you for a moment about, you know, we've got Midtown history, we talk a lot about that, but I always enjoy talking about Midtown future, about those new things that are happening in our particular area. I see a lot of that when I'm walking around. I saw a new wine bar, I saw a new event center that's happening and stuff like that in there. And recently I was walking by Angela's and I saw a new real estate company. I didn't know what it was, but I stopped in there to the door to say hello. And well, nobody was there at the time, but they were building. And it's called Compass Realty. Recently they had an opening last Thursday, I think it was, something like that. My days are off. I'm getting older now to remember those days. However, I stopped in there. They were very welcoming. The chamber was there. And when I listened to the lady talk that was there, and the gentleman I'm about to introduce right now, Mr. Haas, that's there, they were really talking about what they could do to support the neighborhood. I wanted to schedule, like we did the business spotlights at the time, but they were so aggressive and they wanted to make sure, they wanted to let you know that they were here very early. So what I'd like to do is, Mr. Haas, would you please? I met him at their opening that's there, and they've got, I don't want to speak for him, a lot of little projects that they want to do. Well, big projects, I'd say little projects, but right this time, Mr. Haas, please, of Compass Realty. Yes, sir. And Angela, are you here? Sometimes there's, Angela may have to speak sometime. There you go. I'll let you handle it. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. This is kind of like the third time to speak in the city, and
okay. Very good.
And personally coming from Orlando, but I serve in Leesburg in the Chamber of Commerce as a board member.
Okay. Very good.
I've been working in Ocala as well, but I live in Orlando. One of the things I love is service to the community. I love to serve the community, and that's my main commitment when I do something. And I'm so chill and so happy that God put me in this city. I didn't have a clue what to expect, but I love what I see. And I think I've been here for the last 3 months, and I love that. And thank you, you guys, for all you do, and thank you, God, because I know it's God who put me in this city to collaborate and serve. And we have a lot of plans with our company. One of the plans we have is a school of real estate to help the high school or the prom that is coming out of the school, and maybe they don't have any clue what to do. We would love to help those teenagers and growing adults to help with something that they can take advantage and make a career and make something for the community at the same time and help others, especially the families. Also, I'm a loan officer. I'm part of the certified Florida housing. So we help a lot with what is a down payment assistance program. And that's what a lot of programs out there, and a lot of people also know that they may qualify. And they themselves turn down to be part of having a first home. So, and one of the main things that we're here is for that, to help the community, to serve the community from the bottom of our heart. We want to say thank you. And we're here in 737 West International Speed Highway. And again, thank you and congratulations for all you do and everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Bless you, man. Wonderful. Yes. Anybody have any questions?
Sorry, you guys have any questions?
Just grateful you're in the community and appreciate you coming to share with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. We look forward to seeing you around and working with you.
Absolutely.
Bless you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Wonderful. Any more public comments? No? One more, Pierre? Yes.
Pierre Lewis, 130 South Franklin Street. This time I'm speaking for me. Well, I'm speaking for all of us. That's a great project, the folk festival and stuff like that. It's just, when they first said about the 7 stages, I remember how we've had events over there. You couldn't hold 7 stages, but I guess they were talking about the whole span of all the Esplanade, and you got space for all that.
Yes.
So I welcome you. I give you support and stuff like that. But the other thing too is, and I actually want to give a congratulatory note in my last comments to say that thank you to the Midtown Board. It's not easy standing up here, sitting up here and doing some of the things that you do. I heard conversations in a number of different places where a number of times people say everything that they would do to fix this and to do that and to do that. Okay, so much for that. There are 2,000 something parcels that are in Midtown, and 1,900 of them was empty. So it's hard to fill in those spaces, because what Midtown, my view, is what they really need is that areas that you're working on now is to fill those empty parcels. Fill those empty parcels either with rooftops, somebody's buying homes, or properties or businesses that are there, commercial property that's there. So it raises our tax base. Our tax base is such that it's minimal to a lot of other places. And sometimes when you don't get the concept of that, people don't put that big picture together. So we need tax receipts or taxable entities in our areas. You constantly have areas where we don't have taxable entities in our area. It's hard for an area to actually grow. You have so many nonprofits, we have that it's in this area, but we need tax receipts. And we get a double whammy in Midtown, obviously, if someone owns a business and we get that 6.5 cents of the taxes they paid up there. So that's always a great thing. So whatever we can do, I think, to work on those, to fill up those spaces, get that valuation, as we would say, by people having rooftops and stuff like that, that's great. And newer properties and newer establishment businesses is what we desperately need. I mean, if I had the wand, Mary McLeod Bethune would be just maroon and gold all the way down, because it would be a college mecca. Not just necessarily for Bethune-Cookman students, but for all students. So everybody would make that left turn and go down there and decide that, for me, I just look for green people. I don't care whether they're black or white, I look for green people, because that's what we need in Midtown. We need that revenue, because when other developers, when they decide that they're going to build in an area, they look at the tax receipts. They look at the taxable entities that we have in the areas. They look where they can grow. Where's the return on their investment? So I think when the board is making those type of decisions, as you continue to make those decisions, keep that in place. And I think you're doing a wonderful job that way. Because you just cannot have so many as we have, 9, 8 nonprofits, public housing, subsidized housing in one model. You can't have that. and not expect the area to really grow. You need to have, you can't, if you dump all that in one area, your median income is only going to be as such that's right here. So you need it someplace to balance it out. It needs to be peppered out. That's not just a PR thing. That's an economic
It's
statement.
economics.
And when you look economically, you've got to be able to say that when one place, look at the census tract, you have 4 census tracts that's in this area. One person takes their census tract and says that it's blighted, and then they'll get high-end apartments that come in there to balance that particular census tract out. We tend to take that low blighted census tract in our area and put more. It's hard to get out of that. So at some point, when I talk about Midtown of the future, the face of that has to change with having more taxable entities. So commercial property and having businesses along there where people anywhere, like they said, at the festival will come down. They're green people to me. Green people come in there. Why? Because the neighborhood will improve on that area.
That's right.
And I've said it before, and I still always say that we need a high-end apartment complex somewhere. Just straight market value. That's it. Just people, the same way they would move anywhere, or one Daytona, the Exponent, any place like that, they would think of moving to Midtown because it's progressive, it's new. We got the historic, but there's a balance between, there's a symbiotic relationship. I know I'm talking long, but the point I just still wanted to make is the fact that I'm glad that you're doing what you do. I know it's hard. The Midtown board, I was on the board for a while.
Right.
Redevelopment plan, I got that coming in. I got a tattoo almost. Redevelopment board and all those things like that. But the parcels,
That's right.
the taxable entities is extremely, extremely important if a neighborhood is to progress. And the last comments I'll make is, I rest comfortably knowing that Ms. Tolliver and Mr. Thomas' vision is there. And I'll say that for the record because I know they're doing the right job.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Thank you. 100%. Well received. Yeah, John, go ahead. Yeah, come on. Yes.
John Nichols again. Last night at the Midtown, Derek Fiacher brought up the idea of the governor's property tax, all right? And the audience asked, do you favor it or not? And he's like, absolutely not. The place that's going to be hurt the most is Midtown.
Right.
So you all have to be aware, because a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't have to pay taxes. But he says all the things you're going to lose.
Right.
And I brought up the idea that the county is cutting back on Votran. They're going to be cutting back on the library.
Yep.
There's several things that they have that they can cut back on. We as a city do not have that prerogative. Although we have a lot of businesses in Daytona Beach, so we're not going to be harmed as much as like Deltona. Deltona is going to be really deep, all right? We're not going to be so bad, except we only have one thing to cut. Leisure services. And we can't
That's all you can.
literally cut leisure services. We have 5 buildings in our leisure services.
Yep.
4 of them are in Midtown.
Yep. Centers.
So the CRA gets 3 of them. All right. So which ones? 2. You'd have to cut 2 of them.
Yeah.
Dickerson Center in Midtown or Scarlet Golden in Midtown? Which 2 would you want to close in Midtown? You can't afford to close any.
No, can't
That's what I
close
want
any.
to bring up. So
Absolutely.
look at that property tax a lot of ways. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you got more to say? I thought you say you were finished talking, but that's
Pierre Lewis, because
Thank you, John.
say, my friend, thanks to John, my friend, John will remember, because at the counties, they were just talking recently about the CRA is going to, what do they say, cancel by 2030 or something like that, right?
36.
Well, those tax increment funding that we receive,
Right.
a lot of that goes into our areas for redevelopment.
Absolutely.
The only way you
That's
really
it.
can offset that is to have more commercial businesses that's there. We have to make that differential up. And the way you make that differential up, which is, when the property taxes increase, that tax increment funding, we supposed to do that.
Right.
When it's gone, the bottom line is, what are we going to do?
Can't do much.
Nobody likes the services cut. They want the services that's there. The way we have to balance that out is we have to think in terms of economics. We have to have our street corners, just like people can walk up and down certain areas, and they've got, I was on Main Street just the other day, there's a bar, there's a restaurant, there's a bar, there's a place to eat, stuff like that, but people are spending. There's a transaction that's going there. Here, a lot of times in there, there's an empty space, there's an empty space, there's an empty space, there's an empty space, there's an empty space. And I always think, wow, that's revenue that we're losing. If the college is spending, they say economic impact is $500 million or so in the area, they're spending it somewhere.
Somewhere.
So I'm always thinking to myself, okay, somebody's got a job, $60,000, $70,000 a year, so much for housing, then they spend $20,000 of disposable income. Where's that disposable income? The disposable income should be bought, shared somewhere in a store or somewhere in Midtown. So it's why can't we grasp that? That $500 million, those college students are spending it somewhere. Why can't they spend it on BCU Road? Down there. Why can't they spend on Mary McLeod Bethune? Dr. Arden, we have to think in that aspects right there to draw that capital into the area, because that's what's going to be. At the end of the day, it's one economy. It's one economy.
That
we
is
want
it.
some of it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, that's good. Lucy, you back? I thought you were finished too. Okay, you got one.
I got one more. That's right.
All right, come on. Ready? You done now? Okay, thank you.
I tell you, I try. Okay, so
No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't you tell that.
I do want to point out for first-time home buyers, I am doing a lot of properties with, it's based on census tract. So I just wanted to make sure I point that out. And you're in the Midtown area, and right on the outskirts of Midtown, I have a bank that is putting out money all day long. They get $20,000 to be in a census tract, and you're in now the census tract. I closed a home a couple months ago, census tract, and it doesn't matter about their income as long as they are living in or purchasing in that area. It is according to the census tract. And folks, if you want to say census tract, it's based on race. That's what it is.
Thank you so very, very much. Excellent. That concludes the public comments. We'll now move to item 13, the board comments. Any questions from the board? Miss you? Ms. Tan?
I've said enough tonight.
Okay. All right.
Me too.
You said enough.
Nothing except good night.
Good night. Again, thank you all. Appreciate it. I thought it was a great meeting. So item 14, meeting recap and follow-ups. I don't think we have anything. We've closed out everything. So we just wait on to hear back from the AAA fence matter. And I think we'll be in good shape. But again, thank you all, board. Thank you, community, for sharing. Thank you, staff, for providing the insight that we needed to move forward, make decisions that we need to make. So job well done. We will now adjourn. No further business.